Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Glad you're here today. Love you guys. I am going to be working in my art journal that goes with this Creativity and Gratitude book I picked out by Amy Oestreicher. And I'm on week 2, Creativity as a Mindset. So I made myself a little reminder card. And I'm going to read you that passage here in a little bit. It's not that long. But when I was thinking about doing this exercise today, I pulled out my palette knives. And there's a reason for that. I'll tell you about it. And some other scraping tools. And then my apple barrel paints, some water, which I don't actually use, black and white Liquitex, very heavy bodied paint, those two are. And I taped my thing and I get my smock on and I actually put an underpaper on. I remembered all the things. These are the colors that I chose. I was thinking sunset, and I have a paper nearby to scrape my palette knife off on, and this is going to be my paint palette. So it's flat, so it's easy to use with the palette knives. So I go ahead and I squirt some paint on this palette and I start getting to work, and I'm going to read this passage while I paint. Again, this is week 2, Creativity as a Mindset. If you don't call yourself an artist per se, how do you know when, what, and how to create? Sometimes the best creative inspiration is having a problem to solve. To solve a problem, you have to see things from different angles and points of view, and doing so requires creativity. One of the biggest problems plaguing many of us is boredom. I'm not just talking about commercial breaks, a meeting at work that never ends, or traffic light kind of boredom, but the existential sense of sameness and routine that pervades everyday life. As a kid, I always used to complain to my older brother, "I'm bored." Even when I was little, I was always darting about from activity to activity. My mind was racing and I was antsy with ideas. His response was always the same: "Why are you bored?" I didn't know. I'll never forget what he gave me as a birthday present that year. His card was a simple little handwritten post-it that read, "This is so you'll never be bored again." I opened this present, hoping it was some kind of toy or exciting little gadget, but it was a softcover activity book for me to fill in. I felt that natural letdown that happens when you get your hopes up and just get ... a book. No, not a book. But then I looked at the cover, which read, "Things I can be happy about." It was a workbook filled with blank numbered lines broken up into categories like outside, school, friends, and activities. My brother was trying to teach me my first lesson in creativity and gratitude. If you take stock of what you can be happy about and start putting pen to paper, it's hard to ever get bored. A lot of times when we're bored, we're just stuck, unhappy, and inactive. A creative mindset invites us to see our circumstances through a fresh lens so that we can be present, inspired, empowered, and, dare I say it, happy. This week, I invite you to see things differently, to choose wonder over boredom. All it takes is a little mind bending. We're never too old to create fantasies. When we elevate the everyday, we can't get bored. I'm going to pause so you can see this for a second. Look at all that texture. I love it. Let me continue. When we elevate the everyday, we can't get bored. We're struck by every laughing tree, every popping color, every breath of sunrise, and even better, whimsical fascination with the world around us, inspiring us to create. And with a project or an idea in our head, how could we ever get bored? And the next section is the activity. It says creativity is not just for artists. Start by looking at a simple object in front of you. For example, a bottle cap. Sit down, breathe deeply, and examine each ridge, each curve, each tiny molecule of texture. Feel it in your hands and think about its function. If you are investigating a bottle cap, ask yourself, what bottle am I opening? You could be opening a potion bottle, releasing a genie trapped inside, or unlocking your creative spirits. Maybe you spot a paperclip at your desk. What special powers does it hold? What top secret documents or pile of love letters has it held together? In the space on the next page, draw a sketch of your object coming alive and participating in a function that is sacred to you. Think about how it has enriched your life. The more you give into the details, the more delicious the exercise will become for you. So think about your object for a while to truly open those creative doors. And then the next page is a blank space. And when I first read this, I saw a glue stick, and it's like, oh, the glue stick makes me happy because I love gluing. I love glue books, junk journals, trashy journals, collage, all the things that I can do with a glue stick. And then a couple days later, when I was getting ready to do the art journal page, I saw my little container that's on my desk of pens and pencils, scissors, cutting tools, and my palette knife was sticking out. And I thought, my palette knife, that is something I'm so grateful for. I love palette knife painting. And to take it back to the glue stick, I use my palette knife to dig out the extra glue that's left inside after it's done. You know what I mean? I don't waste glue. I dig it out with my palette knife to get it all. So my palette knife, I brought that out and I said, I want to create with my palette knives. And I love my palette knives. I brought out several of them that you saw. And I love the fact that they have all the paint on them. I think that they're a great extension of my hand while I am creating. And I think that they bring me joy. They bring me joy. And this painting, it might have a lot of color on it, but I'm also reminded that this is just for me. If I'm going to go create or compare myself and my creativity to somebody else who's getting paid for their palette knife painting, I'm coming out of the creative mindset and I'm in the comparative mindset. And let's just throw that out the window because that's not what this is about. This is about my own creativity and my enjoyment of the process. And another thing about palette knives that I like is I love the lines that they make and the texture that they leave behind. And you saw that part where that flat one made these like dendritic marks. It was just amazing to me and it looks so cool. And while I'm painting, it's like, oh, that texture is fun and this texture is fun. Look what the palette knife is doing now. And all of a sudden I've got these clouds from mixing these colors and it's just, it's not anything in particular. It's like this magical, mystical, sunsetty type, no definition, no anything that's totally a defined thing, but it's beautiful to me. And I'm doing that with these palette knives and I'm enjoying this process and I'm getting my tape all painted. I love that. And one thing I also like too is the waves that I do and the blobs that happen. And I get mixing up these paint colors and that's just amazing to me. I didn't know that pink and black made gray. Look at that. And I know that purple and black makes gray too, that upper periwinkle. And then I do these other lines. And I just have such a fun time making this magical sunset with vertical lines and horizontal lines, so intersecting lines. And I bring out other things to make marks with on this page. And I am just having the best time. I think I'm listening to some spa music at this time too. And it's just so relaxing and enjoyable. And the extra noise you hear in the background is my husband's making smoothies. So just ignore that. And because he does that and he's really good at that and very, very dedicated to his smoothie making. So anyway, it's a very pretty messy mess and I love all of it. And I like all these other marks that I put on there and bring you up closer. And I just have a really good time. And my mind is being filled with dopamine and oxytocin, serotonin and endorphins while I'm creating with all of these tools that are not traditional tools for painting. And the results are just enjoyable to look at. And I am happy as a clam. So I hope you are enjoying this. And I'm reminding myself too that this is art for me. It is the mindset for me to create with a tool that I've had and have forgotten about, but now am bringing back to life. And I add circles, of course. Don't we always add circles to our creativity? I shouldn't say always, but there's circles. There will be circles. And I just start pouncing circles all over this. And I have another size too that I bring out, and we just have a good time making circles in the middle. I kind of break up the page, as you can see. It's in sort of in thirds because I heard that's a thing. But all these circles, I got the intersecting lines, and then I add some circles, and just kind of brings it all together, even though it looks like a kind of a hot mess. But I love how the colors are just, they're all there, but I'm trying to make sure they don't turn into mud, because that could happen. And so big circles and medium-sized circles, and globbed really big. And I just had a really good time. All right, friends. I'll get back to you when I'm all finished. So what do you think? Is it beautiful or is it a hot mess? Look at all that texture, the layers. Oh, I think it's fun. I love the intersecting lines and the circles and the color variance, lighter to darker as it gets to the bottom. And look at that tape. I pull all that tape off and you'll see it in a minute, and it's beautiful. And here is the final product. I found this little saying, creativity is calling, and I'll glue that on in a minute. But it's just, oh, I love it. I put my hand over it and it just has all of this texture, and I outlined it with that pen just a little bit. And here's the tape on the side. Oh yeah, that's going to be used in something else for sure. It's got texture on it too. I got pretty thick with that white and black. And then my scrape off paper, that's beautiful in itself. Without even trying, kind of a thing, you know? Anyway, I really enjoyed that. I had such a blast doing that. I hope you enjoyed that too. And I'm going to write up there on the top what I'm going to title it. I think I'll call it Palette Play. And if you haven't picked up this book or looked at Amy Oestreicher, I'll get a link and put it down below. But this was a fun activity. I hope you enjoyed that. To remember, creativity as a mindset is really good for our mental health too. And just doing something with your hand creatively, it's amazing. So I hope you're having a great day. I love you guys. Take care. And as always, God bless. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.